As more companies begin to bring employees back to the office, many of them are requiring workers to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. But how do you keep track of who's vaccinated and who isn't? That's why one San Francisco startup just rolled out a new policy with some unique incentives. Joining us now to tell us more about the program at FAST is the company's Chief Communications Officer, Jason Alderman. Jason, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to talk about this important subject.
What's in the incentive program and why did you come up with it? Obviously, the vaccine is a big thing. The pandemic, we're still technically in it. So obviously that's the driving force behind it, but why an incentive program?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, this is about our employees' lives and their livelihoods. We know the vaccine works. We know it saves lives. So we really want to make sure 100% of our staff get vaccinated. And while the vast majority of the team is fully on board with that, we know that people out there have hesitancy as they do worldwide. So we want to give them every excuse in the world to get vaccinated. So we've come up with a couple of fun additions to help them get over that hump. One is everybody who's vaccinated gets entered for a chance to win $1,000. There's about 200 employees at FAST, so the odds are pretty good. You'll also get a shout out tweet from our CEO praising you for getting vaccinated. Everybody also gets 100% guilt-free time off to get the shot if they need to get time off. Also, if you're feeling any kind of symptoms after getting the shot, you can take, again, guilt-free time off for that. And also, for many people, coming into the office and getting to travel for work is a perk in of itself. So if that's important to our team members, it's another reason to get the shot.
And I guess you said the employees' reaction to the idea of being vaccinated in this whole incentive program has generally been positive, right?
It has. We're FAST as a data-driven company, so our team gets it. They can look at the numbers, and the numbers are loud and clear that the vaccine is safe and effective, and it saves lives. But also, we're not, our team is not immune from the larger confusion that exists out there. So for that very small group, we want to speak directly to them, and we want to incent and reward them for doing the right thing to protect themselves and their colleagues.
And I think we've been really lucky here in San Francisco and the Bay Area in general that people have been so willing to be vaccinated and they've been willing to listen to the science. There are those that still a few that say they don't believe in the science, they don't think it is what it is, and all of that. And some of those people may think incentive programs like the one being offered at FAST, potentially other companies in the future as well, could be an indirect way of almost shaming those who aren't getting vaccinated. What do you say to people that kind of think along those lines?
Well, there's no shame intended at all. This is anonymous. There'll be no scarlet letters imprinted on anybody's Zoom profile if they don't get vaccinated. So no shame. That doesn't work. But we know that incentives work. We're seeing it right now in Ohio with the statewide program there with a lottery they came up with. I don't think that $1,000 is going to change anybody's life at FAST, but we do think if that's the kind of thing that just will help push them over the edge to say, I'm on the fence, but heck, $1,000 and a fun shout out tweet from my boss. And if I do feel sick, I can take the time off without thinking twice. If that can help them get to yes, then we're all for it.
And hey, it's $1,000 more than they had before getting the incentive. So who's going to say no to that?
You're right. You're $1,000 in your pocket and you're protected against the coronavirus. That's a pretty good day.
Now, for fully vaccinated employees who may have to go elsewhere for work, is there a way that FAST is ensuring that everyone's going to be safe within the vaccinated environment? Because at the end of the day, these vaccines aren't necessarily 100% effective. They are effective, but not 100%.
For sure. And while getting vaccinated is a great way to keep yourself safe, we have a rule at FAST that goes beyond just COVID. If there's ever a situation where you just don't feel safe going into a building, into a meeting, into a conference, onto a plane, whatever that situation is, then don't do it. We don't want you to do it. Your health and your mental health are not worth going into that meeting if it's going to be a problem for you. So if for some reason or other an employee is vaccinated, but they're going to a conference in a community where they think they're not going to be safe, then we'll tell them not to go.
And we just hope that companies have the same mindset and policy as that, even if it's not explicitly stated. Hopefully employees don't feel that they have to do something if they don't feel safe doing it, especially when we've seen how dangerous a COVID infection could possibly be. What would you say if people are saying that a proof of vaccination is, as I mentioned earlier, we said, there's obviously no shame, but a violation of, let's say, HIPAA? Because, there's going to be those people that say, knowing my vaccination record is, especially if someone's tweeting it out on the social media, let's say they don't necessarily want to tweet it out. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, so I would say that as a society, we've come to expect certain public health measures as just normal. So right now, we expect you to wear a mask on a plane. Society expects your kids to be vaccinated before they go to school. The military and hospitals have expected you get the flu shot if you're an employee there for years and years. There are certain things that we just expect you to do because it's not only good for you, but it's good for the company and the larger community. I think in this situation, this squarely falls into that situation as well. We don't want your health records. We're working with a third-party vendor who will verify that you're vaccinated or not. We don't want to see your cards. We don't want to store that information. We just want to know, we want to get the thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I think it's a fairly reasonable request to make, but if for some reason or other an employee can't get a shot, we'll make a reasonable accommodation for them by being able to work from home. We've got a program called Fast Flex. It allows you to work from anywhere in the world you want. You could live a half a block away from our office in San Francisco. You don't ever have to set foot in it. So if you can't get vaccinated for some reason or other, you're protected. Just work from home. It means you can't come into the office, you can't travel for work, but you can still be a productive member from the team. You just have to stay home.
And again, I repeat that hopefully companies think the way you do and don't create an impediment for those people who, let's say, can't for whatever reason, whether it's religious or otherwise, be vaccinated. Now, Jason, I think you just mentioned it. There's a lot of fake vaccine cards kind of floating around. You said that there's a third-party company that you guys work with to kind of verify that these vaccination records are legitimate and not fake.
Yeah, that's right. Fast makes buying on the internet with one click easy. That's what we do. We're not a company that verifies people's vaccination records. So we're working with a company called First Vitals. They've been working with the state of Hawaii throughout this pandemic to get people verified, make sure their COVID tests were accurate for getting into the state of Hawaii. So we're working with First Vitals. Employees will upload their information to First Vitals. First Vitals will verify it and make sure that it's legitimate, and they'll give us the yay or nay on it. So we won't ever be involved in actually handling, verifying, checking out anybody's vaccination records. We don't want to be in that business. We want to stick with one-click checkout. So First Vitals will handle all of that for us. They're doing a good job, and employees will get the green light when they're vaccinated. That gets passed on to us directly.
I mean, it is amazing that we are at a place where we have vaccines so readily accessible to us now. So we love to see that. Jason, is there anything else that you want to kind of hammer home with regard to what you guys are doing at FAST and just incentive programs in general for employees that get vaccinated?
Well, listen, we think getting vaccinated is a good idea. This is science. We believe in science at FAST. We believe in the data. The data tells us loud and clear that getting vaccinated is a really good idea. However, we respect the fact that not everybody gets to that decision-making process at the same time. But we really want all of our employees to get vaccinated because we know it will help keep them safe and it will keep everybody in our team safe. So we want to provide these extra incentives to get people over that hump, get vaccinated, and get back into our office as soon as they're ready.
Well, I'm sure your employees are happy to know that you guys are doing everything you can to provide a safe environment. And hey, if it means giving someone $1,000 to do it, we're not opposed. Jason, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Take care.